What's up? What's up? This is Adri,
And Alyssa.
and you're listening to.
Chat in the Hat.
I just want to say my neighbor has officially creeped me the F out, and I think he's giving all the stalker serial killer vibes. And I just got off the phone with Wes because I'm like, okay, I'm definitely glad we're moving because he literally does drive-bys all the time. And
But you have Jim there.
I know.
I was Jim scare him off.
Yeah.
Wait, let me finish my story. So I was just walking my dog around the perimeter of the grass because I just picked him up from the groomer. And I'm walking down my street, but in front of my house. And I see his car come by in the perpendicular street, maybe.
Yeah.
But he's slowly creeping down my street, and I see him looking down, and then he goes around. And so as I'm coming back in my house, he's coming back down by my house, and I see him peering, staring at my house. And I'm like, what is this guy doing? Come on, Hank, get inside. I locked the door. What the hell is going to happen? But he was over last night because his son plays with Jackson. And I think he was a little drunk, but he kept touching Sadie's hair, and it was making me really uncomfortable.
Oh, gross. No.
Yeah. So anyways,
Don't let her go over there, and don't let her outside by herself.
No, I know. What's funny about him is the running joke is because he always wears those really short, track shorts from the 80s.
Oh, creepy. His balls are going to hang out the bottom.
Creepy.
So anyways, that was just my... Don't drive by people's houses slowly.
Don't drive by people's houses. Don't pet their daughter's head.
Sorry, no.
80s track shorts are no.
80s track shorts, no peering.
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
Well, do not let her outside without.
Oh my gosh. So I think we probably need to make the introduction here that we have the legendary,
legendary,
the myth, the legend, our mother.
What is it? The myth, the legend. What is that phrase?
The man, the myth,
the woman,
the myth, the legend, Doreen, aka
rockstar Q Novotny.
Rockstar Q Novotny. We have our mom joining us in studio today, in our San Diego-based studio.
In studio.
Yes, we went. Mom flew in town from Tennessee, and we went to see her fave little musical artist. His name is Christopher. Just Christopher.
Yeah.
He was really good. And we got to see him in a tiny little venue here. And he even made mention. He said, wow, this is so different for us. Very intimate. He said, I'm used to playing for thousands.
Is he? Because I never even heard of the guy until Mom mentioned
Europe.
He's Europe.
Oh, in Europe.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
He's from Denmark, so he's got $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. I mean, 30,000 people at his shows.
Oh, wow.
All over Europe.
And then he played Soda Bar. It's holds 300 maybe. No, it was great. I prefer
I like them.
Small, intimate shows like that.
Yeah. That's cool.
So
well, we have a lot planned for you, Mother.
Okay.
But before we do, I just got to say, I watched Saltburn. Weird.
Okay.
But I also, in a weird way, thought it was a really good movie. But it is
people
weird.
feel that way. People feel that way.
It was a trip, but it was those few parts that were just what in the actual F is happening right now, the grave thing.
Yeah.
I was a little uncomfortable.
So awkward. So, oh my God. The whole thing is very, very uncomfortable.
It is. But then the movie, when he's dancing around, and I don't want to give it away, but I was like, dude, this guy's kind of it reminded me of you. You know the Netflix show You?
It's like, oh my God, I just felt like that lady in the news, like when she's like, you. And she's like, my name is Meredith. He's like, no, the show You on Netflix. I just thought that that's what you meant when you're like, it reminds me of you. I was like, what? I'm not fucking great.
Yeah, it reminds me of you, Alyssa. You've been drinking bathwater for how long now?
Oh, gross. Gross.
More like cum water, not bath water.
Okay, well, yeah.
So yes,
kind of
for our listeners, we have our one and only Doreen Novotny, our mother. She has been inspirational in our lives.
I tried.
She's probably very proud of us right now.
I'm
And
very
we
proud.
thought it would be fun to interview her because, I mean, obviously she had us and we're pretty cool. So anyways, we have some really fun questions for you, but I thought it would be appropriate to focus on your singing career because you did kind of have like a little bit of a rock star stint in your life. And so just to give full
Thanks to the Sam
context,
Morrison Band, plug.
yeah, our mom is a singer.
Our Adri is notorious for referring to the sharedness of our mother as hers independently. So
She was mine first, so I don't know if that counts. Before you came into existence, she was mine.
So you're just saying you're old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she gets her humor from us too. So she has been singing for pretty much as long as I can recall. And it started in the church because we did at one point in our lives go to church, believe it or not. And then she signed up and started singing with this rock band, the Sam Morrison Band. They're actually
I
pretty
didn't like,
amazing.
oh, I'm going to sign up and put my name in for this rock band. No.
Yeah, she auditioned on
No, I didn't.
America's Got I'm just kidding.
You're killing me, girl.
okay, let's let her tell the story.
Yeah,
She's
tell us
the
how
one
you
being
got
interviewed.
into the band and like what that experience was.
I was singing in church, and I was part of this smaller church in Fullerton that we were all going to. And Sam Morrison and Cindy, his wife, came in. I didn't know them. They came in, saw them a couple times, and started to talk to them and get to know them, just not about band stuff or anything like that. But then one Sunday after church, he said, hey, would you want to do some recording for me on my record? And he's like, I'm going to, record an album and I need some backing vocals. And I said, sure, yeah, I'll do it. So that's how it started. It was like in 2000. The rest is history. Started just doing some backing vocals on his first Sam Morrison Band CD. The one that everyone is famous, loves listening to is like the original Sam Morrison Band CD.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we go on, I think it's probably helpful to know, like, how did you get into singing? I remember you tried to teach me one when I was younger, but how did you get into it and start singing?
Well, it just was, singing at church, and getting in the choir. And then at one of the churches that I attended, there was a lady there that was like a vocal coach, and she kind of helped do some vocal coaching with me. But I tried to sing, I was just singing in the church choir, basically.
And did you always have an interest, like as a kid? Like, did you always enjoy singing, or was it something like at church somebody was like, "Oh, hey, you kind of have a good voice. I'd like to."
I mean, I always enjoyed singing. I loved it, and I wanted to sing. I just always wanted to sing. So I was going to church at the time, and I said, oh, I really like the band and like the music. So I said, I'll just join up and start singing,
And so, just so our listeners know, you're one of 5. Did anybody else sing? I know Grandma always sang, but just
Well,
at the kitchen table.
we grew up with all kinds of music in the house. So we grew up on Motown. We grew up on, Uncle David, of course. He's a bass player and a singer. And he was the heavy metal rocker. And then Denise was into like the oldies. And Dee Dee was into like the more hip hop and
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Janet Jackson.
Who were your
But-
like influences, or like what music were you drawn to?
I think I kind of liked a little bit of all of it, but I was more in 80s. So I grew up like the 80s was my prime. So I really like all the 80s stuff, Prince, Journey. Those were some of my first concerts that I went to. A lot of Journey, a lot of Prince, a lot of disco. Loved all of that.
Disco Queen. We should hear about your encounters with Prince when you were dancing in the discos in LA. My mom used to dance with Prince.
Share.
Yeah, I do. Well, I do remember being at this one local place that a lot of people went to, and I just remember him being there. And I don't think, he wasn't from there. Obviously, he's from Minneapolis, but he did come in back in the 80s. And this was right when I Want to Be Your Lover was a big song. I vaguely remember him and his entourage sitting in a very back VIP booth that he frequented in that little club. And I was a minor. I shouldn't have been there. I'm just going to say that right now. Like we had fake
I can relate to that.
I had a fake ID and was in these 21 and over clubs. So it was
the fake ID.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
My friends were older than me.
Sounds like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree there.
Well,
That's where I
we
got
all
it from.
do it. We all want to experience life in some form or fashion.
Sure, sooner than we're supposed to. Yeah,
We all want to be older than we are when we're younger, and younger than we are when we're older.
it's true. That is
facts.
true. So, so you started singing with Sam Morrison Band, and then they kind of took off like a little bit. I would say 'cause you guys were touring
doing a lot of local. He ended up just keeping me in the band, and we started doing shows and a lot of local bars and biker runs and things like that. So they were a lot of long nights. They were, playing from like 9 to 1 in the morning. It was a grind, and but it was fun. And then he said, I'm really thinking about putting together a Bob Seger tribute. So he started working on that, and then we were all on board, and that just took off. I mean, that was like the bread and butter of the band. And, then he just started becoming more and more popular in a lot of the casinos all over the US. And so he was just booking gigs left and right. And
you were playing like every weekend, it seemed.
oh yeah, we were always traveling. I mean, Arizona was like a second home to us because there's a lot of casinos out there, and Laughlin, Vegas. We did, a show or two there. They would play there a lot. And then anyways, it just started taking off, and we started traveling more across the US, different types of shows and events and really big events. So it was really nice because when we were used to staying out till 1 a.m. and then having to tear down everything, these were really nice, because you walk in, set up, you got a full sound team and lights and the whole thing, and you sell tickets and people come in to see the show. You do your 90 minutes and you're done, and tear down and you're done, right? And you get to casino. So
were you ever surprised by where, your listener base, where you had listeners and like the size of your fan
not
base?
surprised so much, but just it was just really exciting. I mean, it's a really you start to really form connections with people that follow you. And, of course, social media is just huge in promoting the band and keeping people connected. So whenever Sam would announce we're going here, we're going there, then everybody, the people in that area are like, oh, that's great. We're so glad that you're coming our area. Or others would just be like, we're going to take make the road trip. Cindy Blossy, if you're listening, she was just like, man, that girl would just travel anywhere.
Yeah,
she was the number one fan. Yep. And she was like, get your dancing shoes on because I'm coming. I love her. So yeah, you just form connections with the people that follow you and the audience, and it's just awesome.
So have you ever had a bad performance, and how did you deal with it?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
It happens. One time, this one stands out. We had a show in Arizona at this country club. And when I got there, I had been visiting Maureen, my sister, who's passed, rest in peace, Maureen. But I had met them at the venue, and they had already gone to backstage and everything. And when I came in the venue, I couldn't get in. So it was time for them to go on stage. They were all backstage. I was texting, and I guess they were so busy they didn't see my text. And so the first song starts and I'm not up there. And I'm like, oh my God. So finally some guy let me in the back, and I jumped on stage like mid-song. It was terrible.
You're like,
you didn't think about going. I'm like, get out of here, lady.
You could have come through the front. Yeah, exactly. I'm in the band.
I'm supposed to be up there. And he's like, oh, okay. So then he let me in, and I was like, okay, I think I'll just wait and see when it's a good time to get up there. I don't want to create any undue attention on myself. So then I jumped in, and oh, good Lord, that was terrible. So yes, there have been mess ups. We all do it. Everybody's had a bad night at one point or another. But overall, we became tighter and tighter as a band, and, make changes. Sam has to make changes on the fly, whenever he has to. And he just rolls with it, and we just roll with whatever he says. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
So what's the craziest thing that's ever happened at a show other than that?
Oh man, I probably shouldn't even get into this stuff.
Yeah, give us the juicy details.
Yeah, we want
the tea. Spill the tea, girl.
There's maybe one story.
Let me just say that none of it was caused by people in the band per se, but maybe groupies that used to be following the band and created drama and got us kicked out of places, never got to go back.
Man.
Oh, dang.
So things like that have happened to the band, but it's not, the band's fault per se, but people that have kind of inserted themselves into being the groupies, and we're probably just too much alcohol gets involved, and then shit happens. So,
Well, that was
you all 86.
I'm sure. Yeah. So it's happened. It happened in Vegas to the band because of a certain person got security called, and they were never asked back.
Oh, wow.
It was a long, long time ago, way before the Bob Seger tribute. So let me just say that. We were doing, because let me back up and say that in addition to the Bob Seger tribute, we still did the original stuff and the Southern rock stuff, which was a lot of Leonard Skinner and Marshall Tucker, 38 Special, really good music like that. But the thing that got booked all the time was the Bob Seger show. So that's where we were traveling a lot for that. And sometimes it's feast and famine. I mean, sometimes we're getting ready in a bathroom, and sometimes we're in hotel suites and all you can eat buffet and meal tickets. And we're just like living the life. So, you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why didn't you invite us on any of those backstage excursions?
Hey,
Wow, this is why.
I don't recall any
I went to the Laughlin River Run one year with Brooke, and we tagged along, and it was all we called it Harleys and handlebar mustaches, just like a government mule show. And it was just bikers, and we had created a whole world. We named people. We're like, oh, that's Chainsaw. We did have a blast drinking adult Slurpees all day.
Oh, I bet. That's fun.
Oh, the Laughlin River Run was crazy. I mean, it was fun. It was a grind. I mean, we would go on stage, do a set, and then we're off. And, there's a lot of music, a lot of bands that are playing throughout the day and throughout the weekend. And Justin had one time opened up he was going to the bathroom, and
Justin's her husband, by the way.
Justin, my husband, or opened the porta potty, and there's people in there doing the thing right in the porta potty. So it's like, wow, you see stuff like that too. And we're like, holy shit, what the heck is happening?
Oh my gosh. I've seen that a time or two.
A lot of really, really interesting. Oh, one of my favorite gigs, and I'm just going to say this, and the place shall remain nameless. But Sam told us we had a gig at a nudist colony.
Oh, fun.
And at the time, I didn't have my LASIK yet. So I wore glasses and contacts. So when he told us we had a show at a nudist colony, you guys are going to die when you hear the stories from this one. So I said, I am not wearing my contact lenses. I don't want to see anything, because I had no idea what to expect. So I took out my contacts and I drove to the venue with my glasses. And then when I got to the venue, I took my glasses off and left them in the car. Justin had already got there early to help set up. And I told him, okay, I'm here. And he came to get me. And I'm walking around, and there's people walking around totally with their junk hanging out and their big saggy boobs. Oh my God. I was shocked. So this guy walks up like, hey, do you need help? And he has a t-shirt on, nothing on, and a t-shirt and his socks and shoes. And I'm like, oh my God, don't look down. Just keep walking.
It kind of is like the real life experience of, how they say envision the crowd naked to take away your nerves. You didn't have to, because they actually were naked.
Oh, it gets better. So we're up there on stage doing the thing, and we're just playing our music, because we play for whoever, and people are dancing all over the place. Everything is flopping around. It's just flopping and moving. Horrible. Okay, so let me just say, Carl, after our first set, we're on a break, and Carl's sitting down on a step, cleaning his saxophone out, and up walks a guy, and his junk is right at eye level with Carl, and like jumps up. Oh, hi, sir. The guy walks right up, and Carl looks up from his saxophone and sees all his junk right there. Oh my God, it was terrible. There was like one really, really nice looking woman there that had, she had the nice boobs and everything. And, Justin hung around her most of the time. So. All the guys did. They saw her. They noticed her.
Literally eye on the prize.
I'm just saying, that was one for the books for sure.
Oh my God.
I always told Greg, our bass player, he was my roomie, by the way. Anytime we were on the road, Greg and I were roommates, because I love rooming with him. It's Dana's husband. And he's always like, Kiwi, you have got to write a book. I'm like, I'm going to write a book. But I never did.
Well, we'll start with a podcast. How about that?
Yes. So
That's pretty great.
That's great. So, are you in a band now?
no.
What
I'm not.
happened?
We moved to Tennessee 4 years ago, and I was doing the Sam Morrison band. I think it was like 19 years, a little over 19 years, and I just love them. They were my brothers. They still are, but it was just amazing. And a lot of bands have a lot of drama within the band, and players come and go in the band. You always have like one or two originals that stay, but for the most part, the band is still together. They're still going on their little tours, and they're still going around the US, and they're doing great. And, I just saw them in Kentucky last year in August. We drove up and saw them play there. But we moved to Tennessee, and I just sing karaoke whenever I feel like it. And I have sat in with a couple bands out there. But no, I'm not doing any of that anymore. Just
Nice.
living and working and doing my thing. So
Living the dream.
yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite kind of music, artist, or song now? I know it's country.
I still listen to it all. I cannot tell you. I mean, yesterday, driving home the other day on Wednesday, I'm listening to Color.
Oh, City and Color.
City and Color.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like Color Me Bad or something.
No, no, that's yours. Your CD that got all busted.
Yeah, I know.
You can't be listening to this sex stuff. I listened to City and Color the other day. I was listening to, I posted it on your podcast. Hey, look, Mom, I made it, or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And what is it? Panic at the Disco. I listen to them. Christopher. I listen to Christopher sometimes. Just depends on the mood. Sometimes I'm listening to really old Etta James and a lot of jazz and blues and R&B, but I listen to all of it. Journey, rock, all of it.
That's where we get our diverse tastes from.
Yeah. Well, it's all good. The only thing I don't listen to is gangster rap. But I will listen to Snoop Dogg. I love Snoop. I love Tupac. Jay-Z. Well, I don't listen to Jay-Z really.
Well, you did in the 90s.
Well, he's different now, but I do like Tupac, and I listen to Snoop, and I love all that.
Do you listen to the edited versions of Tupac?
Big Willie style.
Where it's like, this is why
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
it bleeps out
What's
all
his
the
name?
words.
Will Smith. I love his stuff, getting jiggy with it. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Oh, so good. I love it.
Awesome. Well, this was fun. We so plug just for the band, Sam Morrison Band, if you're into that kind of music. What is it? What would you qualify that as? Like,
I would qualify it as all Southern rock, like Bob Seger, of course, the Bob Seger Show, everything Bob Seger, even the really obscure stuff is great.
they're really good.
Southern rock, Skinner, Marshall Tucker, 38 Special, ZZ Top, all of that old Southern rock,
So Sam Morrison Band, or do they go by Turn the Page still?
They go by Turn the Page for the Bob Seger Show. Yeah. Turn the Page, Sam Morrison Band. You can find them on sammorrisonband.com, turnthepageonline.com. I mean, look them up. Go see them. Go see a show. They're awesome. You will love it.
Awesome. Well, we have a special surprise for you. We're going to bring it in from Josh here. We're going to put you in the hot seat.
So for normally, Josh ends each show with a dad joke, but we thought it would be more fun to end this episode with some rapid fire questions.
Oh,
The answers are only your children's names. Okay. So you're going to answer each question as quickly as possible with the child that phrase or that question you associate to. Okay.
This is going to be fun.
So we have Adri, Alyssa, Josh, and Faith. Okay.
Yeah. So hot seat. I'm gonna rattle them off, and the first name that comes to mind for these questions, just spit it out. Who's the craziest driver?
Adri.
Who was the fussiest as a baby?
Josh.
Who is the moodiest currently?
Alyssa.
Who is most likely to have a snappy comeback?
Adri.
Who is the silliest?
Alyssa.
Who is most likely to call you in the middle of the night?
Adri.
Who is most likely to take care of you when you're sick?
Alyssa.
That's a
Who is the
lie.
most affectionate?
Josh.
Who has surprised you the most?
Surprised me the most. Adri.
Who's the life of the party?
Adri.
Who texts back immediately?
Adri.
Who's the most likely to be a spy?
Josh.
Who's your favorite?
I don't have a favorite.
Oh,
Aww.
it's because she wasn't rattling fast enough. We
I
thought
know
we'd
you weren't
catch
going. There was not much of a hot seat. The seat cooled off pretty quick.
She's all,
I know.
and also, sorry, Faith, you do count.
No, I mean, Faith is probably a little. I'm kind of thinking back when you guys were little, but she is probably the one that calls me the most about everything, and she is always snuggling and cuddling with me. But Josh, I have to say, when you were little, you always cuddled with me. You were always the cuddler, and Alyssa was like, "Don't touch me." And Adri was kind of like, I'm on my own. I'm doing my own thing. But you were always the cuddly. Now it's Faith. She's living with me. So yeah.
So I came up with most of the questions, but then I created the note collaborative so that they could add their own. And Adri added a few. Guess what she added? Who's the moodiest? Because I knew she knew you would say me.
100%.
100%. I'm like, that bitch added that so I would get the answer.
But I have to say, she's moody and she if she's in a mood, she's in a mood. But when she was a baby, she was like the easiest. She's just chill. She's
She
sitting
was
her
so
seat
easy. You
forever.
forgot her at a restaurant.
Twice. I did. Guilty. I walked out of a restaurant and left her sitting because she fell
Guess why?
asleep.
Because I fell asleep. Whoa, ding, ding, ding. Episode 1.
She fell asleep in her high chair at the table, and we all got up and walked out. And I was like getting in the car, and I'm like, "Oh shit, where's my baby?" Oh, let me go back and get her.
But we got our to-go food.
Yeah, you didn't forget that.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, that was great.
fun. Thanks for joining.
us, Mom.
Thanks, sweetie.
Love you. Bye.
I love you. Bye.
Bye.
Chat in the Hat is hosted by Alyssa Stiles and Adriana Marquez. It is produced by me, Joshua Stiles. You can find us on Instagram at Chat in the Hat Pod and wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.